What is good? What is good? It is Mikey T, the movie star, the most hated, yet
What is good?
anticipated Mikey T, the movie star, back with another exclusive commentary for you all. I am the king of the bloggers, and I'm about to be the king of the commentary. JR, I'm coming for your position. Guys, I appreciate y'all for tapping in tonight. We got some hot shit to go over. We got some hot topics to go over tonight, y'all. Let's go. Matthew Thomas, what up? Jay Sinatra, I appreciate you guys coming in the live tonight. I definitely appreciate everybody watching my throwback interviews. The hottest interviews of 2021. That's right, you guys. I put out the Hot Boy Turk interview, the Black De Niro interview. We got a couple more going. The AR Rab interview, the first Dark Low interview I did. And we've got the last. So we got a couple more dope pieces to do in regard to that. OG Variety is in the building. Definitely salute you tapping in tonight, man. Last night or 2 nights ago, we were on live talking about Mob James. All rumors, all the speculation hit the internet. All the controversy started to run wild, as they say, and Mob James kind of had a clean record before all that. You know what I mean? In my eyes, you know what I mean? He had got the podcast type shit moving. The Gangster Chronicles was on its way. I believe they did a deal with Charlemagne, but he had come up, and I really got to know him once again through his interviews with DJ Vlad. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not gonna try to front on anything and talk about it in any other way. I got to know the homie Mob James through his interviews on DJ Vlad. I mean, a charismatic guy. He can hold the camera. He knows how to tell a story. What's going on with you, Matthew Thomas? Appreciate you tapping in tonight. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share this video. You know what I mean? We got some shit to talk about tonight because the internet is blowing up, man. The legends of the game are in firm control of what's going on right now. We get a new rumor every day almost. You know what I'm saying? I almost wanted to cover that whole Little Xan story with Stat Quo and Adam 22 and Wack 100, basically putting that to bed. Hulk Strong is in the building, and I appreciate him for tapping in, dropping comments, man, and showing love to the channel, as I do all of y'all tapping in on a regular basis. That's right. OG Variety said it. Smash that like button. We are just getting started, though. Smash that like button. Hit the share. Let's rock and roll. King J Rock, man. I see you, man. And I definitely appreciate you. Jay Sinatra in the building as well. Biggs, 1984. Happy New Year's, boss. Yo, appreciate it, man. 2022. We're not letting go. We got a firm grip on this shit right now, so we ain't letting go, man. And we're just going to continue to push on. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to push on. Let's see. Yeah. Hulk Strong. Tonight's going to be a good show. I actually had to tap in New Year's Day. You know what I'm saying? And we are here to speak about the hottest shit going on in the game, man. Because the clubhouse, my guy Big Chuck, Death of the Clout Chaser, is killing it right now. But this whole story that we got word of just 48 hours ago. What was it? 48 hours ago, guys? 72 hours ago. Somewhat of a brief, period of time has passed since we heard about this. But now we're getting further details. With Mob James actually addressing it himself, bringing up his brother Buntry, bringing up his brother Buntry's passing, and we're gonna get into all of that as well tonight, man. I just need everybody to share this video. Hit that like button, and we're gonna kill it tonight, literally and figuratively. Let me see. Yeah, it's pretty crazy though. Wack 100 saying he has been saying this for a long time. Incredible Charlie says, Incredible 44 here to support Mikey T. Definitely appreciate you tapping in, man, supporting the channel on a regular basis. Happy New Year's from King J Rock, man. Happy New Year's to you as well, my dude. Happy New Year's to you as well, my dude. Not saying it's true. Jason Sinatra saying, not saying it's true in regard to the snitching allegations, but where there's smoke, there is fire. Yeah, Matthew, we're going to jump into all that tonight. Mob James actually gave a crazy statement about all of that, and we're going to get into it all. I pretty much went through and listened to everything that Mob James said. Also, we're going to be talking about Bosco. We're going to be talking about Boskoe100. He actually chimed in on everything as well. Just a whole bunch of different topics swirling around involved with Mob James. You know, he was doing the interviews with Vlad, who was also doing interviews with Bosco. You know, Bosco has one of the most notorious voices. Um, Bosco apparently wanted to include something in one of the Vlad interviews where he was speaking on how Mob James rumors were about to start surfacing. Paperwork was about to start surfacing. We're going to get into all of that. Happy New Year's, first live of 2022. That's right, you guys. And I'm running all of my interviews, and I'm running all of my new interviews, you guys. All of my new interviews from 2021. I am running, putting them all out. All my favorite joints. I think I'm going to put out my longest interview of 2021, and that was with a Dipset artist, you guys. Dope interview. But Bosco, get the spelling right on that, Sinatra. Put some respect on Bosco's name. He said Bosco's been saying it for a while as well. Yeah, I went in and watched an old interview where Bosco was on Vlad, and he actually apologized for calling Mob James a dry snitch. We're going to tap into all of that tonight, you guys. How was everybody's New Year's? Talk to me, y'all. How was your New Year's? Did anybody do anything exciting? Were there any concerts? I was at the casino, but did anybody do anything crazy for New Year's? How was it, man? I definitely appreciate y'all being in here tonight. All good, brother. All good. You can see it. It's in the title. Boskoe, Bosco 100. He had actually, he has quite the name in the industry. Bosco has quite the name in the industry, man. We've seen videos of him getting in brawls. We've seen videos with him actually, exposing artists. And now he's pretty much just the talk of the culture, man. Respect to Bosco for giving me an opportunity to even reply to a DM in the past. Yeah, we could get an interview, but I'm not doing interviews at this point in time. Who knows what'll happen in the future? Excellent, kicking it in LA. Okay, that's what's up, man. LA is the place to be from what I hear. I got to get out to LA. I got to get out to LA, but I'll be out there when the time is right, man. I will be out there when the time is right. You know what I'm saying? But this is where all this news is sort of circulating from, huh? With Bosco, Mob James, Wack 100. All of these guys are actually from the West Coast area. So, that's kind of interesting to me. We're talking about that coast right now. Okay, my man Fresh. Fresh says I was asleep on New Year's from a smoking session. I don't know him personally, but he seems like a solid OG. Yeah, Bosco's definitely a solid type of dude, man. And he is consistent. I really respect how consistent he has kept his career for the last number of years. Um, yeah, Matt, we're gonna get into all that, man. We're gonna get into all that because that was actually one of the major parts of his statement. So pretty much this whole thing starts with an interview I had seen of Bosco confirming all of Wack 100's rumors on Mob James, you guys. And I think that's where we'll get this whole thing started. I think that's where we're going to get this whole thing started. Let me see. What happened, Lee boy? What up, Lee boy? Appreciate you tapping in, man. Appreciate you tapping in tonight, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Major salute to you. Stop spamming the chat, though. Don't spam the chat. Appreciate you tapping in. But let's see. So Bosco actually confirmed the rumors about Mob James. Bosco had done an interview with DJ Vlad on VladTV.com where he apologized to Mob James over dry snitching. So Bosco said that he had been checking out the Bosco said he had been actually checking out the Mob James interview. And they had spoke about when Bosco had went on the Gangster Chronicles show, right? So Bosco went on the Gangster Chronicles show, and this is what he was asked about on DJ Vlad. This was a whole situation Mob James spoke on too. When Bosco went to the show, Mob James said Bosco was shaking hands. He was a good guy. And they were considering actually using Bosco on the show alongside Reggie from Death Row. They were considering using Bosco or Spider Loke at the time, is what Mob James said. So that's why they were having the meeting. Bosco, in a previous interview, said, Yo, I wasn't going up there to do an interview with Gangster Chronicles. I was going up there to talk to them about getting my own show. Now, it's interesting that Mob James says this about him coming up to potentially be a third host on the show, because that's how it kind of naturally could have happened, getting Bosco on the show. You know, they could have had him up there, you know what I mean? And then when they were vibing, they could have been like, yo, jump on the show. Let's vibe out. Let's vibe out for a minute. Let's see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And they could have filmed an episode organically, you know? And that's why Bosco could be saying, yo, I wasn't going up there to try to be on their show. I was going up there to get my own show. And he had said something else, you know. He had said something else about the Gangster Chronicles really being about him. And we're going to get into that in just a second, because he had a lot more to say about Reggie as well. You know, the former police officer, you know. But I just want to say, if these guys could have come together, they could have had a really successful show. I think these guys coming together, it could have been a successful show. Bosco, Mob James, I think, but that's not to say that Gangster Chronicles hasn't panned out. From my understanding, Gangster Chronicles is doing some sort of a deal with Charlemagne's company. You know what I mean? So obviously, Mob James has come back. You know what I mean? Obviously, Mob James has come back in a sense, to the point where he's even attracting the attention of the hottest dude in the game when it comes to media. You know what I mean? Charlemagne. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Go ahead and share this video. Today we're addressing it all, man. Has Mob James did he admit to snitching? Did he admit to it, guys? But in his own way? We're going to tap into it all tonight. Also, right now, we're talking about Bosco, you know, but Wack 100 definitely has pulled Mob James' card in relation to this whole incident. You know, the recent videos are on Clubhouse, the recent shit that's been going all viral all over the internet. It's pretty much put the pressure on Mob James to address it, who has officially addressed it for his first time, y'all. Mob James actually has addressed this for his first time. We never saw it brought up on Vlad's channel. Like I was just explaining, Bosco 100 actually somewhat apologized for dry snitching. At least that's the way that the headline was worked. So Bosco took it further with Mob James, mentioning his brother. You know, so a very big situation that surrounds this whole thing with Mob James is his brother, Buntry. You know, and in all honesty, you don't mention a man's brother, especially if he's passed away, because you know how a man will go to bat for his family. And this is something that Mob James has explained is one of his sole reasons of really existing, is to cater to his family and his loved ones, you know? So Bosco took it a little bit further, you know, by the mentioning of Mob James' brother. Mob James said, "You don't know nothing about my family. If you got a problem with me, keep my family out of it, number one. And if you had a problem with me, you should have addressed it when you came." So this whole issue with Bosco taking issue with the Gangster Chronicles podcast, it's going to come out in a little bit. And it has, like I said, it has something to do with Reggie. More so, I want to say. It has more so something to do with Reggie. Kind of like, you know, when you see like Rick Ross went through all that scrutiny about being an officer. Anybody who snitches in the game, they get a lot of scrutiny. They get their career taken because hip hop doesn't really want to have anything to do with the police. Rick Ross, you know what I mean? When he crossed that bridge, he crossed it with, you know, artistic value. That's how he actually came through and won that whole thing. Bosco said this: "I wasn't dissing them. I was telling the truth." He said, "I went up there for a meeting to get my own show. Gangster Chronicles is supposed to be me. I ran into them." He said, "Gangster Chronicles is supposed to be me. I ran into them." Now, this is what I was just speaking on a little bit earlier, you guys. Bosco could have been called for a meeting, right? "We got a show idea for you. We think you're going to come in and make Gangster Chronicles the next level." You know, so that's how Bosco could have came into this. Now, they could have been filming an episode, vibed with Bosco, and got the whole thing done. You know, where Bosco was like, "Listen, I wasn't necessarily going there to film an episode, even though we vibed out and got an episode in. I was going there to take a meeting to potentially be, I guess, the host of the show, or from what Mob James has said, the co-host of the show." Everybody, we got 75 people in here. Let's share this video. Share this video, everybody. Let's talk tonight. Tonight, we are talking hip hop. You've got the king of the bloggers in the building. And I appreciate everybody for checking out my throwback interviews from 2021, man. I'm releasing all my best stuff from 2021 to end the year. So many new fans, so many new supporters, and I love you all, man. I'm Mikey T, the movie star, the king of the bloggers, the guy who cares about every last man and woman that's in that chat, too. Just to be real. Mob James snitching. Damn. Schizo, we're going to get to it, man. It's a whole story, man. We had started to dig into it the other night, you know, when the photos had surfaced. Photographic evidence surfaced, labeled CW, confidential witness, and there was a little bit of pushing going on. If you catch my drift, there was a little bit of pushing going on, and you know, I took a little bit of question with that. Looking at these guys, Reggie Wright, looking at these guys like Mob James, you know, they come from the iconic record label of Death Row that was probably worth $500 million. You know what I mean? It's like, how did you not make your way to the point where you could live off of that? And no disrespect, you know what I'm saying? But how would they have not made the point where they could live off the success that they had in the past, man? Like, why would they have to go back? It's almost like when all the rumors came out and Jimmy Henchman was shipping up some yay across the country in the boxes with all the studio equipment and shit like that. It's like, how does this dude who's connected to the game really have to do that? You know what I'm saying? What happened? Look what happened to Jimmy Henchman. You know, some of these guys, they get into the game. You know what I'm saying? They have some success. Some shit starts to happen maybe where they fall back a little bit and then they resort to the street tactics, man. You got to steer away from that. Look what the game has gone on to become. The game is an artist that has sold 5 times platinum. He's gone back. He sold 3 times platinum, I'm pretty sure, on the Doctor's Advocate. Someone check the numbers for me and let me know. You know what I'm saying? Somebody check the numbers for me and let me know, man. But the game has put up some serious numbers, and I would hate to be an executive tied to an artist that successful who, you know, it was now in jail. You know, it's pretty ridiculous, man. That's just my opinion. That's my answer. of an artist that, is having a major run in the game. Like, all you got to do is pick up the slack. Look what Mob James ended up doing. Just from doing a few interviews with Vlad, the dude went all kinds of crazy viral, and now people want to hear his stories forever. You know what I'm saying? But you can't make people forget the past. What he did in 2000 or 2000 to 2004, after the heyday of death row, that is going to come back to haunt him. Bosco was saying he wanted to address this a number of years ago. He said this rumor has been going around for 10 years. And shit, I mean, if it happened in 2004, the indictments happened in 04. I imagine the cases and everything are done by 2006, 2007, so it could have been rumor, rumor that everybody was hearing since 2015, 2016, 2017. Yep. Could be that rumor, man. But now it's really splashed all over the internet. And let's get a little bit back into it. Let me jump into my notes, you guys. So Bosco had said I wasn't dissing them. I was telling the truth. I went up there for a meeting to get my own show. The Gangster Chronicles is supposed to be me. I ran into them. So that's what Bosco had said, and he followed it up. He said, I'm not a disrespectful person. Respect is given. Only thing I said, you guys are sitting here talking about the Gangster Chronicles, but this guy is a police officer. We got an ex-police officer talking about who was a snitch. So this is where a lot of the controversy is going to come in about Reggie being on the show with Mob James. And, like anytime somebody has some sort of an influence and they, you know what I mean? And then you find out they have some police background. You find out their brother's a cop. I mean, look at academics going in right now. You find out their father's a judge. You know what I mean? You're going to look at them a little bit crazy. You're going to look at them just a little bit crazy. But the way that Reggie got into the game, was through the slick tactic of working with Suge Knight. You know what I mean? And Suge Knight was at the top of the mountain. Suge Knight was at the top of the food chain at that point, where it didn't matter what bloggers said about him or what interview, you know what I mean? Ultimately, all of the writers and the columnists and magazines did have something to do with the downfall of Death Row, just because of the various reporting. But when you're with Death Row and you're at the top of the mountain, it really doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you. You know what I mean? In some cases, it really doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you if you're running with the top people in the game. Jay Sinatra says Boskoe100 has been throwing that around for years and he wasn't lying. Well, let's just look at the situation. So Bosco goes up to take this meeting, right? Because earlier I had said Mob James was like, yo, if you had a problem with me, Bosco, if you had an issue with me, why didn't you just take it up with me when we saw each other face to face? That's what Mob James said. So this is what Bosco had said. This is what Bosco had said about that meeting. He said, I'm not a disrespectful person. Respect is given. But the only thing I said is you guys are sitting here talking the Gangster Chronicles, but this guy is a police officer. We got an ex-police officer talking about who was a snitch. Like, how backwards is this when it comes to hip hop? If you got a podcast and you got a guy who's talking about who used to snitch, but he is a cop, you are the ultimate snitch. You are the person that was taking these statements from the snitches. You are the one who was writing down the statements and, executing the snitching reporting. So it's like, it's really just comical. You know what I'm saying? It's really just comical when you walk into a building like that and the executives who are running the podcasts are putting these type of people in control of it. Now, I don't know if the Gangster Chronicles with Reggie and with Mob James is the one that was actually involved with Charlemagne. I think there might have been a branch off. I'm not sure. Somebody can confirm or let me know about that. But how it, you know what I mean? Come on. We got a former cop on the show talking about people snitching. Now I can understand how much valuable story, you know what I mean? How many valuable stories we could really get from these two being together. Mob James, Reggie Wright. But this whole thing, well, Mob James, MC8, whoever the show was with, you know what I mean? We're going to get great stories from Mob James. We've seen it on Vlad TV. But this has thrown, you know what I mean? This has just thrown a monkey wrench into their plans. I'm really wondering how this is going to affect Mob James moving forward. I assume he'll be back on Vlad TV to address all these rumors. I saw him on another show. I'm not really too familiar with the platform that he went on. I'm surprised he didn't do it on his own platform, but Mob James has addressed it for the first time, and we're going to get into it. So Bosco did another interview. So Bosco had done another interview. This is the one aside from the Vlad interview, where he spoke on not being allowed to speak on the snitching allegations. And he said, I know for a fact that they have been saying this since about 10 years ago. Bosco confirmed that he heard these type of allegations 10 years ago. 10 years ago would be 2011. The case ended in 2004 from what I read. And I suggested maybe at max time the case took 2 years. So 5 years after that is when the rumor started to spread. You know what I'm saying? 5 years after that is when the rumor really started to spread. But Bosco confirmed that he heard this about 10 years ago. Now, as we know, 10 years ago is before Mob James was doing all these interviews. It was before Mob James, and hell, even podcasting had become popular. You know what I'm saying? So we really didn't know if anything was going to become of Mob James once again. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these bodyguards, like, they get washed up. Not every bodyguard turns into the success story of Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? Salute Max. Salute the homie Max, the Coke boy bodyguard. That's my guy right there too. Salute to him, man. Jay Sinatra says, if my man James was working with the feds and Reggie Wright was with the LAPD, then Death Row was surrounded by the LAPD the whole time. Well, Jay, it's a little bit different than that, because Mob James was actually just tied in as an official guy, whereas Reggie Wright was coming from being in the LAPD. I'm not sure when. Maybe it has something to do with Rampart being broken up and him coming after that. So Mob James didn't get involved with these cases until the death row money dried up. You see what I'm saying, Jay? And that's when he started dipping back, to my knowledge, or to their information. That's when they tracked him back down. Oh, the death row money's slowing back up. Mob James isn't always in buildings that we can't go into. Okay, now we got him. This is just how they work, man. I'm just saying that. So it just be like, this is Bosco talking on his interview. He said, it just be like I really had to do this shit. I really held it down. And these dudes have done some telling. And he said the best thing is to keep quiet. The best thing is don't say nothing. Now, we were dipping into that a little bit earlier because back then, 5 years after the case, 2011, podcasting wasn't everything. I was on here doing interviews, but podcasting wasn't everything at that point. Long format storytelling wasn't where people were making their moolah. You dig what I'm saying? Nowadays, some guy comes on here, tells their story, they make money like they're selling books. You know what I'm saying? They sign a podcast deal, they're making big bread even before they even have to turn the, you know what I mean? Even before they got to turn the analytics, the minutes watched. They make bread before they even, you know what I'm saying? But this wasn't a popular thing back in the late 2000s, the late, 2010s, early 2010s, I should say. This wasn't really a thing. But now it is. It's a thing where guys like Mob James and Reggie Wright and anybody, I see K9 is back, for crying out loud, the old death row artist. This gives all these guys an opportunity to tell their story. And there's just so many thousands of people out there, whether they've heard about a guy from years ago and they've just been trying to find him, or they're just jumping into a situation and somebody just so happens to jump into it. Podcasting, Clubhouse, all of this YouTube, it's everything now, so much more than it used to be. And back then, you wouldn't have to worry about keeping your mouth shut. You wouldn't have a social media platform to go jump on every hour. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have a social media platform to jump on every hour just to, you know what I'm saying, just to talk to the people. You really wouldn't have to worry about that, you guys. But nowadays, Mob James could just jump on here and be like, yo, what's good? I used to hold Suge Knight down, man. I remember this one time he wanted a steak. He wanted a steak medium rare. One of the cooks brought it in. It was well done. And I fired that chef. I'm sure the story was a little bit more brutal than that, you guys. But Mob James could pretty much just jump on there and tell any story he wants and get 500,000 views, 1 million views. You know what I'm saying? Jump on YouTube, get 1 million views. Now he can talk. And Bosco is saying pretty much what everybody knows. Once you snitch, you put yourself in a position where nobody wants to hear you talk anymore. Nobody wants to hear what you got to say anymore. So once you snitch, your word doesn't matter. Once you snitch, you got to go into a room and fold. You got to shut your mouth. Don't come out here talking because your word doesn't hold any weight. And that's pretty much what I think Bosco means. So Bosco said in his last interview with Vlad, he said something about Mob James, saying, we got to put that clip out of Mob James up because the paperwork was about to surface. Bosco wanted to beat the curve, y'all. He wanted to be ahead of the curve, as they say. He wanted to beat the people there. Beat me there. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Because a lot of the times we see how situations like this play out. Because now you got a headline out there. Bosco apologizes about saying Mob James dry snitched. But he was trying to tell Vlad, and I don't really know how the conversation went, but from what Bosco is saying here, it seemed like he was trying to say, like, listen, this information is going to come out. I don't want to make myself look like an ass. I don't want to make your platform look like an ass. That's kind of a respectful thing to do sometime when you're keeping it real. LQ says, do you think James snitched? Do I think Mob James snitched? Mob James is really going into detail about his feelings. He's going into detail about his feelings. It's a little shaky. You know what I mean? All the details about the feelings. Because when you involve feelings, it gets a little crazy. It's like, damn, man, it sounded like he got something to say to somebody. It sounded like he got a whole typewriter of shit to say to somebody. Man, I got a lot of respect for Mob James, purely based off of his story, based off of watching him on the interviews. You know what I mean? Even Bosco said he was watching the interviews. Mob James, very compelling guy. You know what I mean? He tells dope stories. Like I just showed you guys. He could do anything he wanted. You know what I mean? Just based on the memories that he has in his mind and the relationships that he created. Oh, dude, man. Some people be trying to bid. Some people be trying to bid, man, but you can't be bidding when you got like 6 subscribers, man. We got like 56,000, baby. We winning. You know what I'm saying? We winning, man, and I'm coming at this shit real, man. I appreciate everybody tapped in on this live video tonight to watch and hear me dissect this whole situation. We're still on topic number 1, and that's Boskoe100, pretty much confirming all the allegations against Mob James, saying this was pretty much known since 10 years back. A decade has gone by that people have known about Mob James. Maybe this was a little bit under the radar because it kind of involves a couple dudes who are relatively unknown. They're relatively unknown, so we really don't know about them in the public. Like if Mob James was snitching on Suge Knight, then obviously it would be world. If Mob James was snitching on the Dog Pound, you know what I'm saying? Then it would be like, I'm not saying breaking news because it's breaking to me that Mob James potentially has something to do with this, with the pictures surfacing that they say are him. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but sometimes I answer the questions in the chat, man. Always, always. You know what I'm saying? Sub up, show some love, yo. Salute, Too Loud for TV. Major salute to you. Damon Holt said he's looking really guilty. We're going to get into that, man, because Mob James had some shit to say. You know, Mob James had some shit to say about this. He had a pretty interesting quote where he said, I was a blood. I was Mob James. I was proud to be that. They took me from loving everything. He said, they took me from loving everything. I disrespected my mother, my sisters, everybody that was going against my gang. I disrespected all of that at one time. Then my brother gets taken out by the homies. My homies took that from me. I don't owe you loyalty. You want to call me a rat? I'm not even in the hood. That's one big line right there, you guys. You want to call me a rat? I'm not even in the hood. That's what Mob James said, but a lot of other stuff. Like I said, it's an emotional message, an emotional interview that Mob James did, you know, talking about what he was. I was Mob James. I was proud to be that. They took me from loving everything. You know, when you join up with a set, you got to it's kind of like The Sopranos. If you guys have ever watched The Sopranos, when Tony inducts Chris, they pretty much say you got to take the family even over your own family. Even though you got to take the family even over your own family. If something happens to you while protecting the family, your family will be taken care of by the family. It's some simple Soprano shit, you guys. He's definitely improving his innocence. Javier, salute to you, bro. What do you mean? Now that's why we know Pac didn't shout him out. You think Pac would have shouted out Mob James? Oh, like just to prove the association and shit like that. On a song, he would have been like, Mob James, you know what it is? I see you riding. I see you riding over there, Mob. You know what we do? Mob James. Real shit. West Side. He would have did some shit like that, you're saying? Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. But this is 2000. This is 2000, Javier, when all this shit broke up. You know, when Mob James got caught up with the feds, it was in 2000, and then the indictments and the arrest of his associates happened in 2004. You know what I'm saying? Happened in 2004. So it was a pretty long period of time. Mob James was tight. He didn't mention him. Snoop Dogg in this burned out. Yo, Dark Low. What's up, big bro? Free the bro, Dark Low. some people were just asking me about how they could write Dark Low. I do know he's locked up in Massachusetts. I don't have the information currently as to how everyone can write him. I will get it though, you guys. I will get it, man. You know, it's been a pretty crazy season as of late. It's been a pretty crazy season, you guys. You know, I got thrown off a little bit. You know what I mean? I got thrown off a little bit when I had caught COVID and shit like that. But I'm back better than ever. You know what I'm saying? We got a bunch of new things working. Salute Dark Low. That's the homie right there. I appreciate him for giving me 2. Maybe it was 3 interviews he gave me when he was actually out on bond. That's right, you guys. So let's get back into this, man. Mob James had this to say about being called a rat. You want to call me a rat? I'm not even in the hood. I already lost my brother, so back up and let me mourn the way that I do. I'm not doing the hood shit. Mob James said, I'm not doing the hood shit. I don't owe these dudes shit. Now you want to come and assassinate my character. And now you want to come and assassinate my character of Mob James. You know, I wasn't too aware that the character of Mob James really existed too much in the industry before the recent interviews. Maybe I'm sounding crazy by saying that, but his stock just went up in the last few years. You know what I'm saying? And it usually doesn't take more than a few years. It usually doesn't take more than a few years to actually have the information pop out on you, man. You know what I mean? It usually happens from what we've probably all witnessed. It usually happens to artists right when they're hitting their groove. You know what I mean? And Mob James was really hitting his groove. And then you know what them street dudes do. They pull out them paperwork and they got what they want to use. You know, they got the shit, man. Jason Sinatra says it. Salute Dark Low. Oh, hello there. Says, you know, that interview was filmed before the paperwork came out. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting right here. It's interesting sometimes how people will always try to, you know, come out and try to lighten the load. It's like, yo, man, there might be some information about me popping up in the next few weeks, but you got to understand, man, my loyalty was tested. My loyalty was tested, so I didn't really need. It kind of reminds me of what 6ix9ine was saying. You know what I mean? When he was like, "Yo, they had sex with my girlfriend, man, so I had to put him away for 50 years." Just kind of how I felt in regard to that. You mentioned 6ix9ine, you lose 10 people viewing right away. So this is Mob James going a little bit deeper, you guys. Mob James went a little bit deeper, speaking on his brother Buntree. I know a lot of y'all know that this is really what it boils down to. When they killed Buntree, I didn't have anyone on my side. None of them was next to me. I just want them to understand. Leave me alone. Come better than a tattletale story. Everyone knows Mob James. And he said this is the first time I spoke on this. I kept my promise. I kept my ears closed. You want to be for real about it? You want to be for real about it? I'm past it. I'm living better than I was then. I still hold my family dear to my heart. These were the words from Mob James, you guys. Pretty much, in my opinion, you know, he's explaining his actions from the early 2000s, you know, after the passing of his brother, after being alone, in his words, after having nobody there, after having his own homies be the ones to commit the act. And from what I was hearing him saying, you guys, he pretty much loved to ride for them so hard, you know, that he, you know how it is when you're, you know, a gangster and shit like that. you disregard your whole family. You know what I mean? You disregard your mom, like he said, your sisters, your grandmother. You disregard your whole family, for that street mentality. And the way he did things, the way he reacted to things. His own homies took it away from him because his own homies took out his brother. So he couldn't retaliate on his own people. Fully loaded 786 in the building. Major salute to you, man. I want everybody to share this video. Hit that like button. Salute to y'all tapping in. This is Mikey T, the movie star. The most hated yet anticipated. Back with another major exclusive. Let's see what Fully Loaded has to say here, guys. Just watching Mob James's interviews, you can tell he was jealous of Suge Knight and Tupac, and goes on how he was a top dog. And let me bring up right here, Fully Loaded, at the end of this statement, he says, "You want to be for real about it? I'm past it. I'm living better than I was then. I'm living better than I was then." Now, I'm wondering what he means. He didn't say I'm living better than ever. So he's not talking about the heyday of Death Row. He's not saying he lived better than ever. You know, he's not saying that the money from the podcasting is better than what he was getting from Death Row and Suge Knight, I'm assuming. But then meaning 2000, then meaning the point in time when he had to go back to the street life in order to get some bread. You know what I'm saying? He's living better now than he was then. He, at this point in time, he doesn't have to resort to the street activity. You know what? It doesn't matter if you don't have to resort to the street activity right now. You've already pulled yourself out of it by getting somebody locked up for hooking you up. You know, from that whole deal of the 4 O's of powder for the 4 O's of yay. That the dude, that's what started the investigation, a 4-year investigation. I'm pretty sure they were like, oh, damn, we got four O's right here. Damn, we got something we can build on here, man. We're going to keep dude on this case. We're going to keep dude on this case. How many 4-0 charges can we build? I'm just being real, you guys. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, looking at those pictures, it was Mob James. You know what I mean? I don't really know what the guy looked like when he was 25, 30 years old. I've seen him on recent interviews. I know what he looks like now. But, you know, I've heard it confirmed in other interviews by colleagues that was him in the pictures. You know what I'm saying? Yo, bro, please don't mention that guy in my live. Please don't mention that guy in my live. You mention him in the live and people be tuning out and shit. But you already know what it is, man. I appreciate everybody tapping in. Let me just say right now, I'm going to do something, man. I'm gonna do something right now before my guy Twiz pops in. You know, SV Twiz, the hood blogger. Follow me for a follow. Everybody who follows me, I will follow back right now. I want everybody to follow me right now. I'm going to follow y'all back. Everybody in here who has an Instagram account, Mikey T, the movie star, is going to follow you back right now. I definitely appreciate every single person in this live tonight. I'm about to be joined by my co-host, the hood blogger from Philly. That's right, SV Twiz. You can call him SV Twizzy. That's what the bitches be calling him. And some of his select homies, obviously. But yeah, let's get into it, man. We're about to have a... Yo, Big Faxville is in the building. Salute to everybody tuning in tonight. It is your host. I am the host, the king of the bloggers. Salute to my guy, Gilly the Kid, the king of Philly. I'm the king of the bloggers. T.I.'s the king of the South. I'm the king of the bloggers. Token, Choke, Battle Rap, Grandpa. What's going on, Token, Choke, Battle Rap, Grandpa? You know, I appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like button. and share this video if you haven't, man. I definitely appreciate you. Gray Gamer, G Note, same here. G Note, that's 50 Cent's record label, G Note, right? So yeah, you guys, this is a pretty interesting topic tonight. You know, it's a pretty interesting topic because Wack 100 came out, said something, and now it's like Mob James has had no choice. Mob James has no choice but to respond at this point. He has he has no choice but to respond to these accusations. Will he do it on his own platform? Or will he do it on Vlad's platform? Either I would find to be acceptable. Vlad's might be the bigger platform. I'll have to ask a couple of you guys about that. Which platform would you rather see him address it on, y'all? Would you rather see Mob James address this on the Gangster Chronicles? Or would you rather see him address it on Vlad's channel? Now, you got to remember, Wack 100 had called out Reggie for deleting a conversation in the past. Do you guys remember that? Wack 100 was asking Mob James, did you have our conversation deleted? They had a long conversation. I'm not sure how long it was. Sounded like podcast-worthy conversation. It was up, and then Reggie apparently deleted it. Wack 100 said, Reggie, answer the question. Did you delete it because Mob James asked you to? Why would Mob James ask Wack 100 or that to be deleted? Probably because it made him look bad. That's what a lot of people would think. Probably because it takes away from his, his look, takes away from what the people think he is, But Reggie denied it. Reggie said, I did not take it down for Mob James. I took it down on my own accord. Reggie's a co-host on the show. I mean, I don't put it past him to take it down on his own accord because it's embarrassing the both of them. Right now, all of this is embarrassing the both of them. The Gangster Chronicles podcast is being like whatever versions of it there are. The MC8 one. Hold on. Let me see real quick. Gangster Chronicles. Yep, MC8. You know what I mean? This is going to affect all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if it's going to help the views. Sometimes when people get accused of snitching, the viewer doesn't even want to see them address it. You know what I mean? Or they'll watch them address it, but then within a week or so, they're done with it. Big Factsville says, let him address it on Report Card Radio or Vlad TV. Oh, that would be interesting to have a conversation with Mob James. You know what I mean? It would definitely be interesting to have a conversation with Mob James. I'm interested to see how everybody really feels about his statement of his brother and if that really adds up to him walking away from the street life. But there are a couple other things that I want to address as well as that too, because once you snitch, it's not like your word means anything in the street anymore. Hello there. Salute. Says Mob James's new name is CW, Confidential Witness. Jay Sinatra says Mob James should do it on Vlad TV because that's where he's most comfortable. Yeah, you're right, Jay. You're right. I just wonder how long it would take to hit the internet if he does it on Vlad. I imagine they would fast track it, I imagine that they're going to fast track it if he actually does do that. Let me see. G Note says FG could have easily exposed all of this while behind bars. Well, on that note, I'm going to bring my co-host in. I'm going to bring in the hood blogger who was actually on his channel going in on this topic just a little bit earlier. Y'all can tap the hood blogger's YouTube channel. What's up, Twiz?
Mikey, my brother, man. What's up, Mikey? Happy New Year, brother. Thanks for tapping me in. What's going on with you?
Twiz, before we jump into everything, I want you to address this comment right here. G Note says, FG could have easily exposed all of this while behind bars. Now,
He
I got into the situation. It started in 2000. The indictments happened in 2004. I
facts.
assume the trials may have taken 18 months to 2 years, so they're convicted by 2006, possibly. Um, so now Bosco says he heard the rumors about this 10 years ago, 2011. So
Sheesh.
2006 to 2011, 5 years. Um, FG could have easily exposed all of this while behind bars. Why didn't he?
Well, at the end of the day, you behind bars. You got some people that was all like we gotta remember, like at the time with him being locked up, the internet world wasn't as crazy as it was. He figured long as all the bros from the neighborhood and the people that was important and involved in the streets, long as they knew what it was, he knew what it was. You know what I mean? So it was like that's the type of vibes I get from it. It's different than nowadays where somebody get tied up and they do a phone call interview and be like, "Oh, he told on me this." Like, it was a different day and time, man. We talking about real street dudes. They don't be, you know what I'm saying? It just was a different day and time, and he seemed like a different type of person.
So let's talk about Bosco first, man. Appreciate everybody tapping in. I got my
Salute.
co-host SV Twiz. We are the hip hop guys. Everybody
Yes, sir.
shared this video. So Bosco had done an interview on Vlad TV where the headline was that he apologized to Mob James over dry snitching. Did you ever see that headline, Twiz?
No, I didn't see that one.
Well, you just gotta. Sometimes it's crazy when headlines be out there, right? Because
Fact.
now he's got a headline out there about apologizing to Mob James about dry snitching, and now all the allegations are actually out there. So Bosco said, Bosco said that he had been checking out the Mob James interviews when he was on Vlad, and Bosco had also gone on the Gangster Chronicles podcast as well.
Facts.
So when Bosco was asked about going on the Gangster Chronicles podcast, he said he wasn't going there to be on the show. He said he was going there to take a meeting for his own show.
That's heavy right there. And he just ended up doing the episode right then and there, huh?
Right. Now listen, this is what Mob James said. So Mob James confirmed that Bosco was there at the show. He said Bosco was shaking hands. He was a good guy, and that they were considering using Bosco or Spider Loke on the show alongside Reggie from Free Dark Low, alongside
Definitely.
Reggie from Death Row. So, Twiz, looking at this situation from both of them explaining it, I think that Bosco was kind of under the wrong impression going there talking about, I'm going there for my own show. Yeah, you are going there for a show, but to be a part of the show with these guys.
Facts. Facts. That's definitely the wrong impression right there. He just got, put right on the spot, basically. Like, instead of going there to talk business, it's like, we about to have this right here. These are the topics. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Twiz, imagine Bosco pulls up to talk the meeting about going on the show, right? But then he vibes out with the guys so much that he just ends up sitting down with them. It's not unheard of.
Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? If the vibes is right, that could happen. It's like we here right now. Let's not, we might as well just get it. It also make it more organic. It's like, ain't too much things being scripted or planned ahead of time. It's like we just gonna have it right now and touch up on real topics.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, Twiz, what do you think? What do you think this group of guys could have done if they had actually come together?
You mean like Bosco with those? I mean,
Yeah,
they could have.
Bosco, Mob James, Reggie. They got their thing going with the former death row security guards. Could Bosco have really added something to that Gangster Chronicles of LA, I guess?
To me, I believe so, because Bosco is like an entity of his own. and he also a younger generation, you know, of gangsters than them. So it's like, you know what I mean? You got two. Salute, Jason Nitro. Much love and respect. You got different generations right there, gangsters. So you know what I mean? That joint definitely would be salute, big facts, Bill in the building. You know how we carry it. So that's
Well,
like two generations right there.
Elgin, stay tuned. We're going to get to it. Twiz and I are pretty much covering it all right now. Just stay tuned. We're going to get to why did Bosco wait until now to say it? Sometimes you don't, you know what I mean? Twiz, if we shoot a video, you don't determine when the video drops. I mean,
True.
you could say, Mikey, I think it would be better to if I say, yo, Twiz, I'm gonna drop it on Tuesday. Mikey, I think Wednesday might be a better day. But you know what I mean? You're not the one who's determining, the guy editing the video, what he's got to go through that day.
And plus, sometimes we gotta remember, like, Bosco from Cali, you know what I'm saying? And not to speak for him, but sometimes people look at it like what's understood don't need to be explained. Salute Steven Rivera in the building. You know, so them guys over there, what the world is finding out, you know what I'm saying? What the world is finding out, bro, like in Cali and in them areas, they already know what time it is. It's just like any hood. When things when things reach out, you know what I'm saying, and the world get to find out what's going on, it's like people in them areas, they already know what's up before it even hit the internet and before people talk about it. You know what I mean? That's why you see people that are like public figures and they feel like their name is sturdy. They be like, you never gonna hear nobody say nothing about me, because they know, they feel as though they, you know, their backyard is clean. You know what I'm saying?
So Bosco said, I wasn't dissing them. I was telling the truth. I went up there for a meeting to get my own show. Gangster Chronicles is supposed to be me. I ran into them. Now, this is the comment that I was sort of going into a little bit, Twiz.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, I think he was just under the wrong impression. Like, yo, Gangster Chronicles could have been you, Reggie, and Mob James. You know what I mean? They had the show going.
True.
That's kind of how I feel about it. Or do you think Gangster Chronicles was just supposed to be Bosco?
I don't know like exactly how the layout would have been. Them three together, it would have been good, man. Like for one, you got the West Coast vibes. For two, Bosco just got a different energy, man. Like his energy, he got, like, you know how like you got people like Wallow or Gil that just got a certain energy that's going to add spunk to it. Like Bosco is one of them guys. He going to add energy to it. So I feel like it would have been a 1-1. But, you know, Bosco probably had personal reasons also why he didn't even want to, you know what I'm saying, deal with it.
He
You know what I'm
did.
saying? You already know. So it's like he's still, you know, it's just like even when people talk about like the video where, you know, the situation where Bosco got ran down on, he might not have acted how somebody from the streets was supposedly acting, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, Mikey crazy. but at the end of the day, it's like his energy override all that, man. Some people, nothing could stop. You know, you can't block a star, man. And Bosco is a star in his own way. You know what I mean? He originally was trying to do like the rap music and all that, but you know, he found his lane and he killing it.
Well, we got the ladies in here tonight, Twiz. Major salute, major respect to all the ladies tuning in. Share this video with your friends. Definitely appreciate the demographic changing up a little bit for sure. So Twiz, you're right. Bosco had a feeling about this show, you know, but he walked in like Mob James said. Bosco came in, he was shaking hands, he was being polite to everybody. I want you to keep that into consideration, Twiz, you know, to when you're going to take an interview. You're pretty much polite to everybody that's in the vicinity. You're not going to be going there trying to start a problem.
Facts. That even the biggest gangsters, they come in respect. You know what I mean? The first thing you offer is respect. If anybody is coming around you and they extra tight, tough and disrespectful, they be the they be the softest ones because they like hiding behind the mask trying to use that shield. You know what I mean? Your tone and your energy got to change to the circumstances you're dealing with.
So Bosco said this, man, and it's interesting that you use that wording of respect, Twiz. He said, I'm not a disrespectful person. Respect is a given. The only
Mhm.
thing I really said, you guys are sitting here talking the Gangster Chronicles, but this guy is a police officer. We got an
Sheesh.
ex-police officer talking about who was a snitch. Now, I went off on this a little bit earlier, you know what I mean? Because in all honesty, Bosco has a point, you know what I mean? We got a guy who basically took down the statements from the snitches, Twiz, and now he's
Mhm.
reporting on who was the snitch. In hip hop, we want to be as far away from snitches as we can be. Now, I respect
Facts.
that you're reporting who is a snitch, but you are technically a snitch. But
Facts.
what do you make of Bosco bringing this complaint up?
So he basically brought the complaint up of him being a snitch after dealing with him.
Yeah, he was like he walked in on him. He checked out the vibe, and he said, so basically, we got a couple guys here, the Gangster Chronicles, doing the Gangster Chronicles podcast, but this guy's a police officer. It kind of threw Bosco off, you know, when he went in there and did the interview.
Yeah, I mean, like the question is, did he know that Reggie Wright was there? You know what I mean? Before he came, which he probably did. Like I like it's like this, man. If you in the streets and you active in the streets, if say you active in the streets, bro, I know street guys that get harassed by certain cops, man, on the regular, where it's like it'd be like a cop will know you by your name, joke with you. You know what I mean? It don't mean you necessarily a brat or nothing like that. As long as you're not giving up no type of information. But Reggie Wright, he like a different kind of person. Like like when I was coming up, man, I knew cops that hop out on you. They used to hop out on us. We might have a little bit of work on this. Say you selling some Reggie or something back in the day, in the Reggie days. They like, man, get out of here. Go ahead. Go home. Like you ain't got no gun on you or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So it
I
just
never
depends
talked
on
to any cops, Twiz. I
you know.
never in my life.
You know, if you're not giving no information is one thing, but I know people that cops will pull up like, what y'all doing out here? Like, we ain't doing nothing, bro. Like, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it just depends on the energy that you have. You know what I mean? Reggie Wright was a cop, but he was also, connected with like the death row era and things of that
He was
nature. So it's
connecting with
like,
the hottest clique. You know what I mean?
exactly,
It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
exactly,
You know what I mean? Because he wasn't in the spotlight either. He was also behind the, you know what I mean? He was also behind the shadow. You know what I mean? Knocking people's
exactly.
jaws off, I would imagine.
It's it's no different than when I've seen the toughest guys, they be in them jails and they be the coolest people with the COs. The CO would be like, yo, who got the TV remote or whatever? And these guys, they be like block reps and stuff like that. And they really be working for these guys, finding out who took the remote. But they be like well respected guys. So long as you're not on there like, yo, around on 27th Street, yo, these guys over there doing this and that, like, you know what I mean? It just depends on the vibes, like, you know what I'm
So,
saying?
so Twiz Bosco had done another interview where he's bringing up, you know, the allegations and pretty much confirming them about Mob James. You know, he said in this other interview, Bosco did another interview where he spoke on not being allowed to speak on the snitching allegations. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, I know for a fact that they have been saying this. He said that they've been saying this for as long as 10 years. Um,
I
he said, it's just like I really had to do this shit, really held it down. These dudes have done some telling. And the best thing to do is to keep quiet. Don't say nothing. That's what Bosco said. You know what I mean? And back in the day in 2005, after all this happened in 2006, even 2007, it was easier for a guy like Mob James to keep quiet. But like I was saying before you logged in, now with all social media, all Mob James has to do is jump on his phone, record a little video about how he was upset about Tupac not putting him on to Live and Die in LA, mentioning his name, and boom, you got 500,000 clicks right there from an original Tupac story.
Facts.
So back in the day, it was easier for Mob James to keep his mouth shut, in my opinion. Nowadays, with all the Vlad TV platforms making him as big as he is now, all the different, his own platform, Charlemagne giving him, the platform and shit like that. Now it's like nearly impossible for him to keep his mouth shut, Twiz.
Yeah, I mean, he got a taste of the internet and realizing that he can monopolize off of just stories. And for him knowing that he had been there and, whether or not, he told or not, he know that at some point in time, he was a well-respected G out there. So he can always make bread off of them stories, you know what I mean? And he an old head. So it's like if you give somebody come home from upstate and they've been down for 20 years, they didn't get to witness iPhones and Instagram. But once they learn it and they get it, they become addicted to it. Like they fall right in with the the trend, and it's like it's hard to get away from it. And the main thing is money, man. You got somebody like Mob James that was like at that time he was more of a muscle. So it's like, dang, I can make money just off of my stories, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's understandable.
So what it was that took it further with Bosco and Mob James was the mentioning of his brother Buntree. Mob James said, "You don't know nothing about my family. If you got a problem with me, keep my family out of it, number one. And if you had a problem with me, you should have addressed it when you came." So we were talking earlier, Twiz, both of us being hip hop influencers, going to an interview. What do you make of Mob James saying that? Like, you should have addressed it when you came. It's like you don't really get disrespectful on the scene like that.
No, but that's not true. Mob James is 100% accurate on that. Like, for
You should have
instance,
been
say
like,
if
yo, you're dealing with a cop and it's called Gangster Chronicles. I don't understand it.
not even just dealing with a cop, I feel like Bosco, knowing that what he felt as though he knew about Mob James, we can leave Reggie right out of it. You know what I mean? If he felt as though he knew Mob James had told and the stuff with Mob James' brother, it was two choices he had when he met him. He could have came with no, he had three choices. He could have came with respect, or he could have kind of like gave him like the cold shoulder when he got there. Like, I ain't really got much to say. Or he could have pulled them to the side, like, people were saying this and that. Like, I don't condone people telling and nothing like that. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like what's up with that? It was actually a situation like that out Philly, actually, man. Yeah, I mean, I forgot it was a rapper that had came to somebody and had talked to him like, like you got these obligations, like just let me know, is it true? He spoke to him like a man off scenes. So for you to go up and give somebody the respect right then and there, and then afterwards you talk about it like this guy is this guy is that. So he gonna look at it like, bro, you should have addressed that right then and there. Because if you felt that way, the era I come from, we deal with that in a certain manner. We was face to face. Why do you give me the respect? And now you off the platform, and now you talking crazy. So yeah, that make Bosco look crazy for that situation.
Yep, definitely.
And
Even though he's got a point, about, Gangster Chronicles having a co-host that used to be a cop. Maybe he's got a point there, but I want to ask you, Twiz, in regard to what Bosco is saying about if you snitched, if you're in paperwork, that you just need to keep quiet, don't say nothing. In regard to this, Twiz, do you think Mob James should have never started a show?
I'm not gonna say he shouldn't have started a show, But I will say that I think he should have been more upfront. Like, I got issues with all this stuff that's happening with Mob James right now, as far as it really opening up that obviously he had told or had paperwork, just because of the principles that he claimed to stand on to the very end. And he had got, every time he was getting accused for these snitch allegations, he denied them. If you know you told, stand what you do. No different than if you get arrested, stand what you do. You know what I mean? Don't be out here trying to sell wolf tickets and acting like, what? Show me the paperwork. Where the paperwork at? You ain't got nothing on me telling. And then the proof come out, and now all of a sudden you want to pretty much make excuses for why you did it. Now the tables turned, so that make you look crazy, because I was a supporter of Mob James up until I found out that the guy really had told. You know what I'm saying? I have more respect for somebody that was in the streets and then they admitted that they had told, than to be trying to covering it up, and then it comes to light. It's like, dang, bro, like what else you lie about? Now, like nothing you saying to me is like, it's not certified.
Yeah, it's like what Trench Baby is asking here. Why do you care if he snitched, Mikey? Why? Because we were all really starting to mess with this guy. You know, in these stories that he was given, I was
The re-
really
you want to
about to start messing with the Gangster Chronicles podcast,
you
Twiz.
you want to know why it matters if he snitched? Exactly what I said, because he's not Bobby from around the corner that told on somebody. He's a public figure. Not only is he a public figure, he speak and stand for gang. He stand for the Bloods. We witnessed this guy go to Charleston White podcast and argue Charleston White down about the Bloods. And even afterwards, you talking about, I had my gun on me. Like, bro, you still talking about street rules. I think he did an interview with Vlad where he was talking about, it was an issue where he was in a parking lot. He had his grandkid with him, and it was an issue with a parking space, and he got out. And, I beat the dude down. Like, you still glorifying the negativity instead of spreading the word that trying to be the toughest and the biggest gangster. That ain't it. The reason why we got an issue with him talking about snitching is because that's the problem with these youth nowadays. It trickled from the older generations, bro. If you look at how Pac went out, Pac and Big went out, and now it's to the maximum limit, to the point where rappers is out here really getting busy. Like they see somebody else where somebody not considered certified, and they're gonna be like, I'm gonna prove I'm certified, or I'm gonna prove that I'm tougher than this guy. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, that's what it's about, because he's a public figure and he's spreading poison to the community.
So let me ask you, man. Angel says it's over for Mob James. He is done online now. Is that accurate, Twiz? Because, all right, he does a response. He's going to do the Vlad interview, or he might do it on his own platform, or hell, maybe even Charlemagne will do a face-to-face interview with him. There's going to be some jazz right after that. You know, there's going to be a bump in the ratings. But is it over for Mob James after this? Is everyone going to look at it like Bosco was saying and be like, yo, this is potentially a rat, a CW, a confidential witness, and a former cop on a podcast? We're done here.
I don't think it's over for him because of the damn time we live in. If it would be over for him, it would have been over for Alpo, even though I know not here no more, but at the time of him being on the streets,
Very bad
he was getting treated like a celebrity. If it would have been over for him, it would have been over for 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it is pretty much over for both of those guys, though, Twiz.
not necessary. I mean, it's over for Alpo.
I mentioned 6ix9ine 20 minutes ago in the live, and 10 people logged off.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
But if this dude do an interview, it's gonna hit numbers. If he drop a song talking about snitching, it's gonna hit numbers. He's still going.
Bro, if we do a live talking about 6ix9ine tonight, nobody tunes in. You know what I mean?
He's still got a fan base, man. This is the era where, like, I ain't gonna say the other word, but the era I come from, It was only one thing worse than the rat. And once they start glorifying and supporting the only thing that's worse than being a rat, then they support everything. This is the internet world. People love gossip and people going back and forth. So if he responding right, it's not going to be over for him. There's people from the streets not going to support him, but it's a lot of people that's on the internet that don't really care about street politics. It's a
All right, so
proven
let's get
fact.
back into it, Twiz. So he said, I know for a fact that they've been saying this since about 10 years ago. That's what he basically said. It's been rumored for about 10 years. So, Twiz, what do you make of Mob James denouncing the gang? So I guess he denounced the gang after his brother died, but also being involved with gang activity in the 2000s, getting all caught up with, having to snitch on the dudes who were dealing drugs and shit like that.
That's a sucker move. It ain't nothing else that you can really explain that. It's a sucker move, man. It's like you still hiding behind your gang, truthfully. You still claiming it, but you're not even really a part of it, and you
Is
really
that
don't
what they
support it.
usually do? I mean, I look at this a little bit different because look at what happened with Jimmy Henchman. You know what I mean? He was alleged, I guess he was serving drugs when he was sending studio equipment over to LA back and forth, across the country and shit like that. This dude, Mob James, he was a part of Death Row during its height. It's like, I mean, didn't these guys get enough money to the point where they didn't have to go back to the street activity? Like Jimmy Henchman was
Well,
with the game.
well, at the time with these people getting money, they think it lasts forever. So everybody don't do the proper moves, and
Spend.
most people want to keep one foot in because they want to be able to go back to their hood and stun on everybody that's still in the hood that's struggling and sell people a million dreams, and that keep muscle behind you. When you connected to the hood, that keep the goons and you keep everybody at bay that way. That's why most people move like that.
So Bosco had said about his last interview with Vlad, he had said something about Mob James. And then he said to Vlad, saying that we got to put the clip of Mob James up because the paperwork was about to surface. Now, Bosco wanted to be ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying, Twiz? He wanted to be ahead of it because he knew what it was. He knew what it was, all the rumors about Mob James. But now look at the predicament that Bosco's in. He doesn't have the video out there on Vlad about this dude snitching, but he has a video out there about saying he's apologizing about him dry snitching. Now it's like confusing the general public, I feel like.
Well, one thing about Bosco is he know how to control his crowd, so I'm pretty sure he'll maneuver out of that.
All right. You're right. And so, Twiz, what do you think about in your opinion, did Mob James make his comeback on Vlad TV? I wanted to ask you, what did you think about Mob James making his comeback on Vlad TV?
Um, as far as like boosting his stock, like
Yeah,
you mean
would you
like
say that's what it is that boosted his stock?
absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest platforms that can boost anybody's stock. Yeah, man. Salute, much respect, much respect. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. But I feel like Vlad can boost anybody's stock, bro. Like I don't care what you was doing in life. You get on there, your stock gonna get boosted.
Twiz, what's up with Vlad doing all these new interviewers on his page? I see he's got somebody interviewing Little Flip. He's got the homie Sean Prez interviewing Crazy Bone. He's got Sherju interviewing, I hope that's her name because she's a cool ass chick, interviewing Fredro Starr. When is Vlad going to let Mikey T, the movie star, do a few Vlad TV interviews?
I'm pretty sure it's coming, man. You know you one of the goats at the end of the day, man. You know, you know what I'm saying, Vlad, you know what I'm saying, holla at my brother Mikey T, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's
We
talk
got a
about some real
network.
legendary stuff.
We got a network, man. Twisby running
Real rap,
around Philly. Twisby
real rap.
linking up with everybody in Philly. You know what I'm
Facts,
saying? And
facts.
You know what I'm saying? We really got a whole network of shit. So we're putting some things together. Let's get back into it, Twiz. So do you think that this will in any way affect Mob James's relationship with Vlad TV? I mean, not saying Vlad is gonna stop messing with him. Will do you think that also you can dig into that if you want? Not, I don't think that's gonna happen. Do you think Mob James might want to stop talking as frequently now that his card has been pulled? Sometimes it'll make people shy away.
No, I think that'll make him talk even more. I think it will. I think it will bring Vlad to want to have him come more just because of all the publicity, and I also think he would be more than happy to clarify everything up because Mob James is the type of guy where he know how to talk, so he going to try to make sense out of what his situation was. Like he going to justify it basically. So I don't think Vlad would stop messing with him, and I don't think because the worst thing Mob James could do now is disappear. If he disappeared, and it's like everything is really true, so he forced in a position of him having to defend himself and him, being from the streets. I feel like he's going to address it. The average person from the streets would, you know what I mean?
Wow. Elgin says that this might cause Vlad to do his own investigation. Twiz, is Vlad going to do a whole episode on this where he just like goes into it? Or do you think he's just going to leave the street shit in the street?
No, I think he would. He's not just going to investigate it and speak on it. He'd like to get it from the horse's mouth. You know what I mean? I don't think that he would look at Mob James no different because he had other people on there that justified telling or whatever. So you know what I mean? It's all entertainment to him. You know what I mean? It's just it's a hot topic. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Mob James popped back up on there within the next 2 weeks addressing it. He's probably hitting them up right now.
So let's get into this. Yeah, it's going to be the biggest interview, man. This might be Mob James. This might be really what solidifies Mob James back onto the actual scene. It
Facts.
could really work in his favor.
Facts.
So, guys, did Mob James admit to snitching? Has he admitted to it in his own way? That's the question of today's episode based on this interview I was watching. Twiz, how old is that interview that Mob James did? Is it an older one or is it new? And was it with Bomb First?
The one that I saw where he pretty much admitted it, but he didn't necessarily say yes, I told, but he kind of admitted it. Yeah, so basically that I'm not sure how far ago it was, but it was released today. It was released probably like earlier today, like 8-9 hours ago.
So we're gonna get into this whole statement from Mob James. Mob James got pretty emotional in this statement, man. And sometimes when emotions get involved, it kind of starts making people sound crazy, Twiz. It kind of makes people start wondering. It's like, yo, man, why are you getting so emotional about this? But in all honesty, this involves the man's brother and his family, Twiz.
Facts. That's big facts.
Yep. So let's get into this. Mob James, share this video, everybody. Me and SV Twiz are holding it down for the hip hop guys tonight.
Yes, sir.
Mob James said, I was a blood. I was Mob James. I was proud to be that. They took me from loving everything. I disrespected my mother, my sisters, everybody that was against my gang. I disrespected all of that. Now, I disrespected all of that at one time. Twiz right there, that first part of the statement, man, it pretty much shows how much loyalty that, Mob James had to, signing up for that clip. I want you just to talk about it a little bit because he's saying here, they took me from loving everything, disrespecting his own mother, sisters. It was, sort of like in The Sopranos, I was saying earlier, how they explained it's all about the family. even before your own family, it is about that secret society family. If something happens to you within the family, they will then take care of your family, is what they say. Twiz, touch on it a little bit.
How he broke it down to me, it shows loyalty to the wrong things. It shows disrespect to the things that matter. It shows being a follower. I know millions of street guys, myself included. I might not be active out here running around with like a chicken with my head cut off now, but never in my life have I disrespected my mother, the one that gave me life. You know what I mean? Like I known cold killers that they mom might come outside when we young 17, 18 and snap on their son and smack them outside. You know what I mean? Like, boy, go get in the house. But you know, your respect for your mother and your family, that's separated from the streets. If your mom or your sister and none of that, and they not affiliated with what you about, you don't expect them to live about that. So at the end of the day, it just shows that regardless of the image that he had and what he was portraying, that he wasn't as certified as he is. Because a true gangster will never take their homies or disrespect their mother, their immediate family members over nothing involved in those streets. Your parents might get on your nerves because they be like, "Oh, stop doing this, stop doing that," and go on one ear and out the other. But you're not going to disrespect them for what you got going on in the streets. It don't make no sense. He make himself sound foolish to me as far as being an OG.
All right, so let me get back into this. He said, I disrespected all of that at one time. Then my brother gets killed by the homies. My homies took that from me. I don't owe you loyalty. Now, Twiz, from what he's saying about the work that he used to like to put in for his clique, right? The work that he would like to put in for his clique, the fact that his own homies took his brother from him, he couldn't go and put that work in that he would have naturally put in had it was the ops who taken his brother away.
Facts. It's another sucker move right there. Mikey, you spoke on it earlier. It's the mob. You know what I'm saying? Mob, his name Mob James. You live by mob rules. At the end of the day, we know how the mob get down. Death of a clout chaser. Big Chuck in the building.
Yes,
Salute,
sir.
good
Big
brother.
Chuck.
Much love and respect. You know what I'm
Was
saying?
just
My
shouting you
guy.
out earlier, brother.
Definitely, definitely. You doing your thing. I see you, bro. But like, you living by these mob rules. It's like we know how the mob get down. You spoke on the mob earlier, bro. It's like the question is, what did his brother get wiped out for? You know what I mean? Like, only the people inside that circle know what it's about. It's certain things where it don't matter. We all witness. It's just like we done seen homies grow up with each other and they go through it over a situation, and it can go down at any time. So my whole thing is this: if you were a circle of people and you supposed to be this beast, the whole gang, the whole Bloods didn't wipe your brother out. It was like one or two people, if that. You know what I mean? Definitely at least one person. Then you deal with that person. It's no reason why you be like, I don't own loyalty to my gang. Even if you're gonna leave the gang alone, bro, you get retaliation in the streets. It's no reason you should be sitting down talking to no cops, Mob James, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Now you going against everything you stood for. You ain't had no problem getting rid of the ops. You ain't had no problem getting rid of somebody else, brother, father, son, niece, nephew, you know what I'm saying? Because they was a different color than you know what I'm saying? Because they represented the blue. You didn't value their life. So if somebody smoked your brother and they was from your circle and you feel like you know who did it, then you deal with that. It wasn't every blood in Cali. Don't just, switch on your colors all of a sudden. And I'm from Philly.
Wow.
We don't gangbang out there, but that's just it's just common sense. If you involved in that street life, then you willing to do life and put your soul on for your blood brother, bro. Are you kidding me? And you not going to turn around. He pulled the 6ix9ine right there. Like, oh, I don't owe these guys no loyalty. They did this to me. They did that to me. But you was in the streets. You should have dealt with it accordingly. That's just my
So,
take on it.
so Mob James continued. He said, "I don't owe you loyalty." He addressed the rat issue. He addressed the comments of being called a rat. He said, "I don't owe you loyalty. You want to call me a rat? I'm not even in the hood. I already lost my brother. So back up and let me mourn the way I do. I'm not doing the hood shit." He said he's not doing the hood shit,
So
Twiz. "I already lost my brother, so back up and let me mourn the way I want. You want to call me a rat? I'm not even in the hood." But listen, you're being called a rat for for what happened in 2000, between 2000 and 2004. We saw the pictures. I don't know Mob James, as I've
facts.
said before. I don't know him by face, especially 25 years ago or whatever, 20 years ago. But it's been confirmed he was there in the pictures in the hood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you were in the hood. We know you're removed from it at this point, 15 years later. Yeah, we know you're removed from it at this point. But what do you think about that ending of the statement where he pretty much said, "You want to call me a rat? I'm not even in the hood."
How I look at it is, it don't matter if you live in UK, brother. What you did, what you did. You can't run from your problems in your past. You know what I mean? What you transform because you're not in the hood no more. Most rats ain't in the hood no more. You got people that's, that where they getting paid and they in witness protection programs and they nowhere around. That don't stop you from being a rat. I just feel like he was probably so used to living off his reputation and being the big guy and having like a natural angry face. Some people got natural angry faces, and these guys be teddy bears at heart. When the real wolf challenge these guys, and they don't know how to deal with it when stuff come towards them, man. And I saw that also, even like when he went on the Charleston White joint, bro. Like, cause he getting up and doing all this and that, and Charleston White was getting disrespectful. If you that much of a G, you ain't even gotta talk about having no burn on you. You should have punched him in his face. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the least you could have did, bro. So it's like a lot of these guys' barks be louder than they bites, and that's how I see him, man.
He said, "I don't owe these dudes shit. Now you want to come and assassinate my character of Mob James?" Before I address that, Twiz, do you think they have assassinated the character of Mob James?
He assassinated his own character. He got what he deserved. How can you start off that? How can you start off this statement by saying you disrespected your mother and your sister? Because they real rap, big facts. You started off talking about you disrespected your mother and your sister for the loyalty and them. So if you disrespect the womb you came out of, the one that really loved you, the one that's going to be there for you if you sitting in jail doing 200 years, that's telling you to pray and you are going to always be my baby. If you disrespect her to show loyalty for these guys, then that loyalty that you felt that was that important, you should have took it to the grave then. That's what happened when you try to be a G. You can't switch up now. You running back to mommy now.
Yep.
Exactly. He did it to himself. He bought that.
Did it to himself. So I just want to say, like, for him to say, like, they assassinated the Mob James character, I'm pretty sure when he got into the game, was working with Death Row, I'm pretty sure he didn't look at the Mob James as a character. I just wanted to say that. That sort of just hit me in the head. Like 50 Cent, character. Mikey
Facts.
T, the movie star, character. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Mob James, pretty sure that was a real guy who was, running shit. You know what I'm saying? But now he looks at it like a character. Now he looks at it like a character, Twiz, because he wants to take advantage of that, of being a character in hip hop. He has this whole thing
Facts.
outlined for him. He's a character in hip hop now, man. But now he wants to
Well,
fall back on that, like he didn't do all that street shit back in the 2000s.
well, Well, that's what people do when they be in tight situations and they had a reputation. They be like, "Oh, that was just the character." The real mob James, the real James, he like to sit at home and eat hot pockets and watch Lifetime movies. You know what I mean? So it's like
Sounds
they
like
try
a
to
good
switch it
time.
up real quick. They switch it up and
I'd be
try to
bored
do a
with that
different
shit.
angle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what guys do. Because if it was people out vouching for him and he didn't have no paperwork on him, then he would
Oh,
still be glorifying it.
one of the Minute Maid fruit punches too.
Real red. Minute Maid fruit punches, like, you know what I
A
mean?
little frozen joint. We got
Real red, like,
all right.
shoot, like,
Loaded words. Well, there is somebody who actually went to jail for 10 years involved with this case. But
and
anyways,
one
let's get
thing,
back into it.
one thing, just real quick, one thing about if you told everything not on paperwork, that case didn't go to trial, but he admitted to it. That's why it ain't got to be no paperwork. He admitted to it after he denied it. You know what I'm saying?
So this is another part of the statement. Mob James said, when they killed Buntry, who is his brother, I didn't have anyone on my side. None of them was next to me. I just want them to understand. Leave me alone. You know, Twiz, this is sounding more and more like 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? It sounded like when he was like, they slept with my girlfriend. They
Facts,
were
facts,
stealing my money. They were booking
facts.
shows for me and then taking a lot of the money. It's like, come on, dude. They were booking the shows for you, anyways. But
How,
you know what I
how
mean?
I facts and how I look at it from the era of gang that he came from, I'm not sure. He said that it was people from his color, from his gang, that got rid of his brother. I also heard that the people that whoever got rid of his brother was just close friends to him, but not actually gang members. So for him to point out that they was a part of his gang, it was a reason why they got rid of him. Like people like, come on, we talking about that era of gang banging, bro. They wasn't getting rid of their own members for no reason. It was certain things you had to violate for that to even be an option. And it don't matter who you was, if you cross them boundaries, then you get dealt with accordingly, just like the
Yeah,
mob.
man. I don't even really want to get into how much of an iron fist that Suge Knight had these guys ruling with. You know, they're ruling with an iron fist, man. So this is what Mob James had to say. He said, when they killed Buntry, I didn't have anyone on my side. None of them was next to me. I just want them to understand. Leave me alone. Addressing the snitching. Come better than a tattletale story. Everyone knows Mob James. And this is the first time I spoke on this. I kept my promise. I kept my ears closed. I want to be for real about it. I'm past it. I'm living better than I was then. I still hold my family dear to my heart. So now he's gone from disrespecting his family twist to holding his family dear to his heart. That sort of kind of makes me think like this is kind of what the guy who ratted does as well, because they realize this is when they feel like they have nobody else. You know what I mean? Once they've ratted.
Facts, facts. You disrespect your family all that time, and then you get in them jails and be like, "I'm sorry, Bob." Or then people come home like, "I realized that the only ones was there for me was my family." Bro, you a grown man that was in the streets and doing everything attached to the streets. If it took that, then it's not genuine. Because now you had to get put in a tight situation for you to even snap out of it. Like, I do love my family. Y'all was right all the time. A lot of the time, man, it don't be genuine.
So let's address this part. He said, I'm past it. I'm past it. It doesn't matter about you getting past snitching on somebody. You know what I mean?
Facts.
If you've been snitched on, I've been snitched on. You never forget who snitched on you. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Maybe
That's a
you
big
can
fact.
get past it. You know what I mean? But,
That's
you
a
know,
fact.
we always remember and we even get past it, but we don't forget. But
Facts.
so he said, come better than a tattletale story. But this is where I really want to address first. He said, I'm past it. I'm living better than I was then. Because why is he living better than he was then, Twiz? Because now all of the money from the podcast has started pouring in, the new deals, all of the YouTube money, all of that has started to pour in, man. What do you make of him saying, I'm living better than I was then?
Yeah, what I make of that is exactly what you said is like, back then he was so busy trying to be the muscle and expecting to get it back because he was supposedly known as the tougher guy. But now he can be himself and make money. You know what I mean? He's more in control of himself making money instead of standing around and somebody act tough and you gotta go punch on them or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like he's sitting back and being himself right now. You know what I mean? And he's probably getting more money now than he was for just standing around, and being helped. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't the only one. Like it ain't like it was just Mob James going around punching people and dealing with things. It was a group of them guys. He was just happened to have been one of them. You know what I mean? So it ain't like he was a super special factor.
So, Twiz, you think that Mob James is getting more money now during this podcast era, social media era, than he was at the height of Death Row?
It's a possibility. You know what
Because
I mean?
I mean, it's for certain that he's getting more money now than he was when he was out there running these, deals and shit like that, you know.
Facts.
But what do you think during the height of Death Row and now? Which do you think was the more lucrative time for Mob James?
He probably getting more now because back then you had people like Suge where it was a lot of people he had to pay, and Mob James was more security. He wasn't bringing in any profit. He was just somebody that was standing around that was supposed to be a gangster. So he used his gangster and his color for protection. You know what I mean? So it's just like now with you got rappers, they have entourages. They might have 3, 4 homies that they bless a lot, but then you got like 20 other people behind them that just want to be around, and so a lot of times them guys be getting spoon fed. You know what I mean? So he was probably getting spoon fed, but also able to be around that celebrity status and build relationships. So somebody coming from where he come from, he was happy with that. You know what I mean? You rolling around with Pac and all of them and things of that nature. So it's like you're getting
Well, I
treated
guess
like a
he was
celebrity.
before we get into that. So the last thing he said, we sold our house in Compton. I don't have a reason to go there. I don't have a reason to go to Compton. He doesn't have a reason to go there. He's also saying that he's not going to deal with this like in the street way that they
What,
used to. I'm not doing the hood shit, is what he said. Sold his house
what,
in Compton. He's not going to Compton.
mhm.
He's
Well,
taking
what,
himself out of the equation.
well, if you a real OG and you put damage in the streets and you talk about helping the youth, the first area you supposed to help out is your neighborhood, the stomping grounds you was on. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. So if you can't help the original stomping grounds that you was on, if you can't help out your home, then you can't help out none of the youth. That means everything that you be saying be bullcrap. How you going out Texas and places like that to talk to kids, and you can't talk to people on your own stomping grounds?
Interesting to hear, man. Listen, you guys, I want to open it up to everyone in the chat right now. We're going to open it up for everyone in the chat. Open questions. Who's got some questions? Hit us with some questions. Twiz, man, pretty crazy topic. I
Facts.
almost wanted to speak on this whole little Zan situation with Wack 100. We might have to talk about that on another episode, man. Pretty crazy though. Have
Facts.
you caught any wind of that?
Yeah, I caught wind of it. It's real crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
he he was talking. He was saying a lot, bro. That's all I can say.
Eminem's old artists kind of getting exposed.
Yeah,
But Wack was speaking up for him, and Adam 22 has spoken up for him as well.
facts. Big
And
facts.
I really didn't get why I didn't put it together. I really don't get why I didn't put it together that he would have sold the car, that he would have given the car away for drugs. Like that happens all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, do.
Chris Rowland says he needs to help the kids in Compton. Why is he going all the way to Texas for?
Exactly, Chris. That's what I'm saying. I heard him talking about helping the youth. So why is you saying there's no reason to go back from the main hood that you was, destroying stuff in? It start there. Especially it don't, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter what you, even if you did tell, go keep it real with them young boys, bro. Like I thought I was the toughest and this and that. I got bodies, all this, but it's not all this cracked up to be. The thing is he's ashamed of the truth. That's what that is.
Right here, Leslie says, did they cancel Gangster Chronicles now? I don't think it's been canceled as of yet. I don't think I think they're at least going to get another season or two or whatever is in their contract. Twiz, you
Well,
think they're going to cancel it?
probably not. You got somebody like Reggie Wright that's going that he can polish anything up. Like he's a guy that can make anything sound good. Like if you sit there and listen to this guy, he will glorify, he will justify anything. So it's like they do a episode where they can clean it up and still had a little viewers and all that. They still got a bunch of stories, truthfully.
Well, Twiz, Wack 100 kind of put Reggie on the spot, saying, did Mob James ask you to delete our conversation? And Reggie didn't really flip that one all well, too good.
Yeah, that's true. Like I mean, different situations, but he's still a strategic guy. He might not have flipped it right then and there, but he still can try to flip it. Him
He
being
was
who
like,
he is,
no,
because
I took it down on my own. Do you think Mob James had him take that down? Or do you think it was more like Reggie was like, yo, this is not making us look good. We have a podcast together. We're taking the shit down.
yeah, I mean, Reggie probably already had the idea, but he probably still talked to Mob James and let him know, like, he seemed like a strategic guy. So I'm pretty sure he probably ran it past Mob James first.
Okay, J Technology TV says people who deal with snitches can't call Mob James a snitch. What's your reaction to that, Twiz? Because Whack 100 obviously dealing with a snitch. Now it's not just Whack 100. Whack 100 is just the guy with the biggest platform putting it on blast, I want to say. Even bigger platform than Bosco right now, Twiz. Wack
Yeah,
100 Bosco.
d- definitely. I absolutely agree with that comment. But he gets away with it. That goes back to also it being the internet era. Not only did he chill with a snitch, but he justified for an informant. Like, he justified for somebody that took a lot of people down and took a lot of people away from their families. So, Wack 100 truthfully shouldn't be qualified. And nowadays, I feel as though he's not as qualified as he once was, as far as from his own hood and people that was around him. That's why he got all the time in the road for Clubhouse. But that right there, that's not going to boost your stock but so much. You better off having your own podcast and talk how he talk, because like he's not getting no money off of that. He's staying relevant through YouTube, but like, I mean, it don't make no sense. Like
Maybe
he's
academics
just,
will get him a podcast deal.
yeah. If he can get a podcast, if he get his own podcast deal, which I'm pretty sure he probably trying to line that up. I'm pretty sure he's trying to make something happen with that because he don't got the most successful artists. So it's like I'm pretty sure he's trying to get involved in that type of field.
Follow SV Twiz, y'all. Show my bro some love. This is the
Definitely,
open.
definitely.
This is the open question session of the podcast, y'all. You know, we appreciate everybody tapping in with us tonight, man. I think we got the hottest podcast on the internet, man. We're gonna turn this into
Absolutely.
we're gonna turn this into a serious radio type of deal, man. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? But everybody hit us with those open questions right now. And shoot SV Twiz a follow on Instagram if you're over there, so you can stay
Definitely.
tuned with his new interviews, everything he's got going on, man. We're gonna touch on that. We're probably gonna touch on that tomorrow, man. JT the Bigger Figure and Wack 100 might have to touch on that tomorrow. George McCarthy says that T-shirt is fly, Twiz. Where you get that John from?
I appreciate it. My wife had got this joint for me for Father's Day, man. You know, me and little Gus joint. I don't know where she got it from, but I appreciate it.
That's cool. That's cool, man. He can't be respected if he lost all respect. Who you talking about, Big Facts? And
What he
tell
say?
Wack King Rob said get at him. Well, Wack's not on the channel, man. This is Mikey T, the movie star.
Yeah, man, we might bring Wack on here, man. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
might
mean,
bring
anything
Wack on here.
possible.
We might bring Wack on here in the future. I'm not sure if he was tapped in the other day. He might have been tapped in on the live stream the other day, for all I know.
Facts. He be lurking through that internet. That's for sure, for sure.
But everybody, I want everybody watching this video to follow me on the gram. Everybody that follows me, I will follow you guys back ASAP. Everybody that follows me, I'm gonna go on my phone and I'm gonna follow y'all back right now tonight. I hope you guys have been enjoying my best of 2021 interviews. Been putting up my best work. We got interviews up from Hot Boy Turk. I put the AR Rab interview up.
Facts.
My interview with Black De Niro. My first of 2 interviews with Dark Low. I put up my interview with Capone from CNN. I'm just putting up all my best work from 2021, you guys, because this is
Skinny
the time.
May.
What'd you say?
Skinny May. Biggie with the weight off.
Oh shit, yeah, man. Yeah, I think this is the best time to put out all of your best material, right? It's the end of the year end type shit.
Facts. Big facts.
But everybody shoot me a follow. And now I'm going to send it over to SV Twiz. I'm going to bring up Twiz's YouTube channel so you guys can all get in tune with Twiz on YouTube. It's the Hood Blogger YouTube channel. He's got an ill interview, one of his illest of the year, with Oskino. It's up right now, and y'all can go check it out. It's an hour long, so you know there's some good material in there. Let me get his YouTube up right here so y'all can go subscribe to him. Whether you're watching this now or whether you're watching this on demand, you can go subscribe to SV Twiz. I'm going to put it in the description as well.
Definitely.
But let them know,
Appreciate
Twiz. Let them know how they can get in contact with you. Let them know what you're doing in the industry these days. The floor is yours, my brother.
Yeah, man, y'all can get with me. Salute everybody in the chat first and foremost. Much love and respect. Salute to my brother Mikey T, the movie star, man. Report Card Radio, the legend himself, man. You know, y'all tuned in to Report Card Radio, live familiar, man. But as for me, y'all can follow me on the gram _ Twiz215 _ @Twiz215. That's TWIZZ 215. You know what I mean? Y'all follow me on that joint. And as far as what I got going on, I push interviews. I blog my city of Philly. You know, and I'm also I also create movies, man. I got a short film out right now called Torn Apart. You know, starring Vodka 1000 Proof. I'm in the middle of trying to get the next film situated right now, man. You know, try to keep it epic. So, you know, any of y'all out there want to network or whatever, man, just DM me in the gram. You know, if y'all got any topics y'all want the hip hop guys to talk about, man, DM us, DM Mikey T. You know what I'm saying?
You got a question
It
right here
say,
from George McCarthy. George McCarthy wants to know, Twiz, what's the Sixers' chances for this year?
oh man, it's always high hopes, but who knows, man? You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't want to be talking too crazy, but shout out to the Sixers, man, and shout out to the Eagles, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't gonna tip. Shout out to the Phillies and all of that, Flyers, man. But you know, I'm all fully, whether we looking bad
49
or not, man.
Lakers. 49 Lakers answers the question. None.
We ain't gonna get into basketball topics, man. That's a whole nother topic right there. Y'all gonna have us on here arguing, man.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
mean,
That shit
but
be serious.
yeah, it is. It is, man. We can
Yo,
go on for
Twist, man.
hours.
A lot of the guys, the people that were watching the AR Rab interview or the people that were
Mm-hmm.
watching the Capone interview, it's kind of
Uh-huh.
crazy how some of the people that watched the videos had missed it throughout the year, man. A lot of the people missed some of the
Facts.
videos, huh?
Facts. It's the same way when I put the whole O John up. Like, you know what I mean? It was so many people that didn't come across it. You know what I mean? And it was like, damn, like, so, it just shows that, the people are they still want to know. And Mikey, you got a lot of great content out there. So, you know, for those of y'all guys that's just coming across it, like when y'all sub to somebody, man, or y'all sub to us, make sure y'all scroll down the page. Don't just look at the last video or the last two, three, because you'd be surprised what you find down that timeline. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We especially, you know what I mean, Mikey T, he got like Tated Truth, man. He got exclusive interviews, John the Dime before the Sue Surf battle and all of that. Like it was so much going on. You know what I mean? And so much good questions and good vibing on the interviews, man. So that's why, if y'all tap in and y'all really support the hip hop panel, man, make sure y'all check through the page, man. You'd be surprised what's up in there because we keep the content pushing.
Hell yeah, Twiz. Yeah,
Man,
let me just say I appreciate everybody for tapping in throughout 2021. 2022, it's only going to continue to get better. It's only going to
facts.
continue to get better, man. For all of our co-hosts, the hip hop guys, Bond Simmons, Rosewood from Spill ENT, Welcome Home Razor, my co-host tonight, SV Twiz. We appreciate you all tuning in, and we're going to turn up all year. All the hottest
Facts.
news, all the hottest interviews, you're going to see them right here. But listen, I want you guys to all subscribe to SV Twiz. I've got it pinned right now. We're going to end this video right now, but I want you to go to SV Twiz's YouTube channel and check out his new interviews with Oskino Vasquez, as well as Omar Gooding. He's got a bunch of good shit on there, man. Go show SV Twiz some love. That's the hood blogger.
Facts, y'all. It's only one way from here, y'all, and that's up. The real prophecy. What's up, bro? Much love and respect, man. You know how we carry it. Jersey, we cousins, man. Right across that bridge, bro.
Definitely, yo. Mike G, salute to you, brother. But we're about to
Mike
get
G.
out of here for the night. The only way to keep us on right now is with a super chat, you guys. We're about to get out of here for the night. I'm about to roll up. Twiz, how was your new year, bro?
Oh, it was great, man. It was great. A whole lot of dark getting drink, you know what I mean? Drunk. I'm still sipping right now, you know what I mean? We ain't got
Okay.
no endorsements or nothing, so I ain't gonna flash the bottle or nothing. Just know. You know what I'm
Save it.
saying? I'm sipping
Save it.
on that special yak, you know what I mean?
Big Facts said, great show. Like always, keep up the good work, fellas. Hey, man, Big Facts, we're going to be coming here consistently. Hottest new
Facts.
podcast. You know what I'm saying? The hip hop guys. We're taking over hip hop this year, man.
Bro, rap, big fact. You know we all family, man. We always appreciate you in the chat. Everybody in the chat, man. We love y'all, man.
Hell yeah, man. You guys keep us going, y'all. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Sometimes y'all send some topics in. Sometimes you post it in the chat or whatever. Sometimes you guys will hit me directly on the DM to send some topics. But, it's always appreciated. Israel Grace, major salute to you. Shalom, my brother. Appreciate you for
Salute,
tapping in
salute.
on the live. We'll have to see where this story goes next, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to see what happens next with this story, but you know this is where you're going to be able to stay in tune with it directly.
Facts. Y'all know we got like 5 other hot topics we about to push out, man. So make sure y'all stay tuned and don't just subscribe. Please hit the bell and make sure y'all hit all notifications, man. Because you never know when we might drop, man. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned, man. We here for y'all. We going to carry it the proper way.
That's a good point, Twiz. That's a good point. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next episode.